He's talking a bit of He's come out and said, on June 28th, another dream will come true. I'll be the champion of the lightweight division. Charles, my apologies in advance. I'm just fighting for my dreams. It's unfortunate that Islam Makhachev had to run away.
Cara, sendo bem sincero, eu nem ligo porque esses caras falam. Esses caras têm que inventar alguma coisa pra falar. Então, pra mim não faz diferença. Eu só quero vir aqui, tá bem, tá feliz e fazer aquilo acontecer.
Então, eu tô em busca do título. Eu não corro de ninguém, nunca corri, não vai ser agora que eu vou correr. Eu tô pronto pra lutar contra qualquer um desses caras, né? Respeito todos eles, mas vou imprimir meu ritmo, meu jogo. Por que não, né? Se for pelo título, por que não lutar com o Topuria? Eu tô em busca do título, eu não quero fazer mais uma luta pra poder esperar o título, não. Pra mim, isso não me interessa, eu quero lutar pelo título.
Charles Oliveira finally speaks out after the Ilia Topuria shocker. The former champ isn't backing down. He's on a mission to reclaim the lightweight crown and silence the doubters once and for all. Meanwhile, Ilia Topuria has not spared his words when it comes to Charles Oliveira. During several interviews, Taporia did not hesitate to downplay Oliveira's career wins, claiming that the Brazilian's losses outweighed his wins. He even suggested that Oliveira was not a real threat, indicating that he would not train hard for a bout against him. These remarks increased the animosity between them, portraying Taporia as too confident and disrespectful of a former undisputed lightweight champion's legacy.
When you got 10 losses in your record, that's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 10.
Yeah.
Like, when you walk in with a guy that has 10 losses, the level of confidence is completely different. It's completely different than when you walk in with a guy that it's undefeated.
Right.
He's a dangerous guy in the striking, in the ground game, everywhere you look at him, he's a dangerous guy. He never takes a lose. That's a different mentality. You gotta have to kill him to give up. He's not gonna even give up. You gotta have to kill him. In the case of Charles, if he finds some adversity, he's gonna go to the ground. He's gonna sit and he's gonna be waiting like till you end up the fight. This is what I think. This is what I feel. This is what I see.
That was certainly the case early in his career. I think things changed with him when he had a child. Then he went on that run and became a champion. And like when he beat Justin Gaethje, when he beat all those guys, he was pretty elite, man. He was really fucking good. When he beat Chandler, when Chandler beat him up in that first round, he came back in the second round and fucked him up.
Who?
Chandler. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. I get it.
Connor's been tested 11 times last year, 5 the year before, and none this year.
Yeah.
Ilia Topuria has also charged Charles Oliveira with having a weak mentality within the octagon. He accused Oliveira of giving up too easily under pressure, challenging his willpower and heart. This biting remark resonated with Oliveira's fans who appreciate his determination and comeback tales. Michael Bisping has pointed out these verbal jabs, observing how such remarks fan the flames of the rivalry and paint Taporia as recklessly underestimating Oliveira's tenacity.
I think that he's the kind of guy that when he feels that you are more powerful, he gives up. He gives up like fast. I don't think that he's the kind of fighter where he finds like some adversidad. How you say
adversary?
That? Yeah, adversary that he keeps going. No, he's like, he gives up. 10 losses. 10. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4,
Can you go to his
5,
record? But
6,
I think it was
7, 8, 9. It's 10.
He's talking a bit of He's come out and said, on June 28th, another dream will come true. I'll be the champion of the lightweight division. Charles, my apologies in advance. I'm just fighting for my dreams. It's unfortunate that Islam Makhachev had to run away.
Furthermore, Taporia regularly doubts Oliveira's resilience to adversity, questioning the former champion's toughness when under pressure. He insinuates Oliveira weakens as soon as things begin to go against him, questioning his mental strength over his technical ability. By continually voicing these reservations, Taporia is striving to take away from Oliveira's reputation for being resilient, painting him as a fighter who crumbles when confronted with genuine adversity. These mind games have heightened the hype building towards their possible encounter.
And he said, yeah, I'd love to go for a walk with Charles Oliveira. Actually, yes, to give him a bit of culture, to teach him something, because it's obvious that this kid hasn't read a single page of a newspaper. Another question, please, because this isn't a good time to talk about somebody like that. So there's Taporia being dismissive. There's Oliveira talking shit. Taporia needs to prove himself, apparently according to the champ. Oliveira needs that last final fight to get over the hump to challenge for the belt. And in the meantime, you've got Justin Gaethje, a fan favourite, a company man that's always putting on great fights. All Justin Gaethje's got to do is stay nice and quiet. Let these two keep chatting it up, talking a bit of shit, and Justin Gaethje might just emerge out of this as the winner, as the guy that gets to go up against Islam Makhachev. And then Taporia versus Oliveira, they might fight for a #1 contender spot. Whoever wins that gets to fight the winner between Islam and Justin Gaethje.
No le faltaba, he dicho la verdad, tiene 10 derrotas, no he dicho otra cosa. Tiene 10 derrotas, 5 por knockout, 4 por sumisión, 1 por decisión. Dice que es la división más difícil que hay. Cuando él estaba peleando en 145, hasta Cub Swanson le ha metido una paliza. Ahí se tiene que acabar la conversación. Algo que no pudo.
Meanwhile, Ilia Topuria's trash talk has only energized Charles Oliveira's drive instead of rattling him. Oliveira has hit back by becoming more determined than ever to disprove his detractors. He had cautioned Topuria already about venturing into the lightweight division's lion's den. Now, with a potential fight looming, Oliveira is determined and ready to claim the lightweight title. His message is loud and clear. This fight isn't so much about winning, it's about reclaiming his legacy.
How do you see the chances for Ilia in terms of becoming a champion in lightweight, maybe fighting Islam Makhachev, and do you see someday you yourself fighting Ilia Topuria for the lightweight title?
Cara, o Ilia Topuria é cara que duríssimo, cara que fala e vem fazendo.
Ilia is a tough fighter. Someone who talks the talk and walks the walk. He's doing things, and I can see why he would want to challenge people. And I think a lot of people, he would be obviously a tough fight. And I think that what happens is a lot of fighters, whenever they get a belt and they wrap that, they have that belt wrapped around their waist, they start thinking up and down in the divisions, and you want to challenge things. But I think you have to be very careful when you're coming up to lightweight, because this is tough. This is a very tough division. But at any rate, I think he's a very tough and very dangerous guy.
Então, eu tô em busca do título. Eu não corro de ninguém, nunca corri, não vai ser agora que eu vou correr. Eu tô pronto pra lutar contra qualquer um desses caras, né? Respeito todos eles, mas vou imprimir meu ritmo, meu jogo. Por que não, né? Se for pelo título, por que não lutar com o Topuria? Eu tô em busca do título, eu não quero fazer mais uma luta pra poder esperar o título, não. Pra mim isso não me interessa, eu quero lutar pelo título.
Yet his opponent is confident in himself too. Topuria made that clear at a recent press conference where he said that Charles Oliveira would have to pay for the behavior of Islam Makhachev. This daring statement speaks to Topuria's hot-headedness and psychological warfare, indicating that he's not merely training for a fight, he's on a crusade. He seems to see Charles as a symbolic representation of Islam, directing his anger and motivation into this fight. It's obvious that Topuria is coming into the cage with intent, confidence, and something to prove personally.
Bueno, en primer lugar agradecerle a Charles, la verdad, por haber aceptado el reto, ¿no? Algo que Islam no hizo. Y tiene que pagar el precio por Islam. Me da mucha pena por Charles, pero bueno, al final del día es mi trabajo. Voy a cumplir otro sueño más que siempre tuve, que era convertirme en campeón de otra división más, por lo que el resultado será el mismo de siempre, salir victorioso y seguir con el invicto.
During a recent press conference, Charles Oliveira refuted allegations that he quits when under pressure, showing frustration and confusion at the same time. He vehemently denied being a quitter, pointing out his endurance and toughness throughout his professional life. Oliveira expressed that these remarks do an injustice to his personality and promised to silence critics once again in the octagon. His frame of mind indicates preparedness for the coming challenge against Ilia Topuria.
I feel like every time you fight, your opponents sometimes bring up this concept of you being a quitter or having quit in the past. The fact that you weren't able to train that effectively and still went in there and went 5 rounds and won the fight, does that prove, do you enjoy proving to everyone that, like, you're not a quitter and in fact actually you're one of the best in the game?
Cara, sendo bem sincero, eu nem ligo porque esses caras falam. Esses caras têm que inventar alguma coisa pra falar. Então, pra mim não faz diferença. Eu só quero vir aqui, tá bem, tá feliz e fazer aquilo acontecer.
Moving on, Michael Bisping has underlined the profound importance of this fight for Charles Oliveira's legacy. He observed that beating undefeated upstart Ilia Topuria would not only silence his critics, but cement Oliveira's place as one of the lightweight all-time greats. Bisping pointed out that this fight is a compelling tale of redemption and legacy, driving Oliveira's ferocious motivation. The former title holder is motivated by the need to make a strong statement and revive his position in MMA history through a decisive victory over a serious challenger.
So there's now a bit of tension building between the two of them. And if I'm just engaging, I'm loving this because Taporia wants to fight for the belt and he's going back and forth talking about Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira's already been beaten by Arman Tsarukyan and by Islam Makhachev. So for Charles Oliveira, this might be the path back to fighting for the belt, to getting a rematch with Islam, because I'm not sure that Charles Oliveira right now is the guy that gets the title fight.
On the other hand, in all the trash talk, Ilia Topuria has shown some real respect for Charles Oliveira's best. He freely acknowledged that he would have given his right arm to fight Oliveira at his best, acknowledging the Brazilian's skill, authority, and brawling ability at that time. This moment of admiration is a sight to behold, as it suggests that deep down inside Taporia's cocky bravado is a profound respect for Oliveira's greatness. This respect provides a rich layer of depth to their brewing competition, demonstrating that Topuria recognizes the real challenge Oliveira poses at his best.
I hear you. Yeah. When you think about like your division when you were the champion at 145, would he have been the fight that you would have wanted when he was in his prime at 45? Would that be the number one fight that you would have wanted at 145?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
My God.
For sure. He was a dangerous guy in 145.
He was so big.
He was big, dangerous.
Yeah.
He had that
Smart.
knockout power. Smart. Yeah.
Yeah. One shot knockout power. Yeah.
He had that.
Yeah, but when he would make 145, I remember that was back when the weigh-ins were literally right there. You'd weigh a guy in, and then they would cheer in front of the crowd. Now the weigh-ins are early, and it's a ceremonial weigh-in. So when Conor would weigh in, he would look like death.
Being on this topic, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson and MMA Guru have both broken down the possible Oliveira versus Topuria fight. They pointed out Topuria's aggressive fighting style and penchant for encouraging wild exchanges early in fights. Guru pointed out Oliveira's endurance of early pressure and finishing in scrambles, while Mighty Mouse pointed out Oliveira's experience and killer instinct as key to countering Topuria's explosive beginning. Their analysis portends an interesting clash of styles.
Yeah. But now he's got to be put into these 50-50s. He's forced it upon himself because he doesn't want to reset hunger.
Yeah.
He needs to maintain hunger because he's now made the millions. I think he was already quite well off anyway.
Yeah.
He's quite a smart dude. So now he's sort of going into this Makhachev matchup. The problem I have with it is his style, he's a bit of a bully.
Yeah.
Even though he's slick.
Yeah.
Even though he's good on the outside and he moves well and he's got such good timing and feints and head movement, he's very he presses forward. They can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
He forces it. You know, he's a bully.
He forces the fight.
Yeah, he forces the fight.
If you're gonna run from him, he's eventually gonna find you.
He's
and
gonna find you.
You're gonna have to fight him, right?
Stay away. Stay away from Ilia.
I feel Islam southpaw body kick. You know how would if he throws a body kick, will he check in right hand?
Yep.
Will he catch it? Islam does have the judo background. He does have the wrestling background.
Yep.
So I like that because they're gonna
clash.
They're gonna clash,
which is why I like the Lopez matchup for him, because he would clash with Ilia in the pocket. Same with Oliveira. He's gonna walk in with his high and tight guard.
High tight guard, Muay Thai style.
They're massive.
Yes.
Compared to the featherweights.
Yes. A repertoire. How he's gonna go about it, right? They're gonna sit down, watch it. Habib's gonna look at it. Everybody's gonna look at it. Where I think Charles will we're gonna go out there, shooter block style.
Go out there, high and tight guard, Muay Thai, teeps.
Yep.
You know,
I get dropped, I'm going on my back, come down. You're gonna. So it's gonna be a little more a game.
MMA Guru has also touched upon Ilia Topuria's image of glory hunting by choosing fights selectively to speed up his ascent. In interviews with Mighty Mouse, Guru conceded to this tactic but emphasized that Topuria's talent and belligerent approach mean that he is a real force in the lightweight class. Mighty Mouse asked if Topuria can translate his featherweight punching power to 155, and this was a significant question to add to the match analysis.
And you know what? I don't even mind an Ilia Topuria Charles Oliveira in the meantime for a title shot. I think that there's a theory about, if there's a belt on the line, it's much bigger.
Yeah.
But people just love the two names. Don't always have to be a belt on the line. They do this with a BMF belt. But if Ilia Topuria fights Charles Oliveira on a pay-per-view, that's a big deal.
Oh, it's gonna be bigger.
They don't need to wait for an interim belt. They don't need to wait for an undisputed. So yeah, I don't know how he's gonna do it lightweight though. Maybe you can speak on that. He's a smaller guy coming up.
It's a smaller coming up. It'll be interesting because he is bigger from when I heard him on the Joe Rogan podcast. Like 191, I think he was walking around. That's massive. So for him to cut to 145, it just
seems almost like, how did he do that?
Yep.
But now that he's going up to 155, I always like when athletes go up heavier to their natural weight.
Yeah.
Right? Like him kind of 145, that's not natural. He was able to do it. It's almost like Conor when he was kind of 145, he was looking at Skeletor, you know, knocking on the death's door. Then he went to 55. I was like, okay, feels good. He beat Eddie Alvarez. And then, you know, Conor, you know, went off and fought Floyd. Shit was history. But I think he's going to look good at 155. I think he's going to have to deal with, you know, people look good when they fight people who are there in the same size. I'll never forget Frankie Edgar, when he started fighting guys at 135, he was like, I'm not taking as much damage. I can actually take more damage. When he started fighting 55ers, he goes, you guys are like 170, 175.
Yeah. So
it almost kind of evens the play. So would he still have that power at 155? Right? That's the thing we're going to have to find out. I'm sure he will, but he'll have the power, but I'm sure the 155ers frame will be able to take it more than a 145er kid.
Yeah. I think that Ilia Topuria, though, and this is why I think he may have messed up, but I think he's in a position where the next fight has to be bigger for him. Because he's had so many, he's just knocked out Volkanovski and Holloway back to back.
Yeah.
And he was probably looking at, should I fight Volk again? I can't do it better.
Yeah.
So now he's sort of glory hunting. He's stuck to a level of competition that matches the level that he brings into the cage.
Adding on, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson has shown respect for Charles Oliveira's style of fighting, noting how Oliveira beautifully blends striking with top-level Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Mighty Mouse pointed out Oliveira's lethal capability to deal damage in the stand-up and then quickly go to submissions, presenting a very dangerous threat in wild high-pressure trading. Oliveira's effortless integration of these skills makes him especially dangerous against pressure-oriented strikers such as Ilia Topuria, who lives by constant pressure. Oliveira's adaptability and flexibility may be key to countering Taporia's ferocity within the octagon, providing him with a strategic advantage in their future bout.
When you fought Charles Oliveira, I told people, I was like, here's the difference. Charles is good because he just fights.
Yeah.
But he also exposes his chin a lot and he gets dropped. Everybody, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler, they drop him. And then, you know, Chandler followed him in the guard, but Poirier and Justin, they didn't follow him.
That's a big mistake.
Yeah, but once you drop them, you're like,
if you
pass guard.
However, Yoel Romero boldly stated that Ilia Topuria would be invincible at lightweight, marveling at his explosive power, crisp striking, and never stop coming forward pressure. Romero's confidence comes from observing Taporia's ongoing growth and development as a fighter, and he believes that his physicality and mental fortitude are ideally suited for the 155-pound division. This emphatic recommendation generates a lot of hype surrounding Taporia's potential and raises expectations for a likely bout with Charles Oliveira, setting high hopes that Topuria would be taking over the lightweight division very soon.
Charles Oliveira contra Ilia Topuria
por el cinturón.
Y para mí Ilia gana esa pelea. Entonces, Paddy Pimblett, Justin Gaethje en el mismo cartelera. Y vamos por ahí.
Eso sería una super pelea, súper interesante en 155. Yo la veo súper buenísima porque hay algo aquí muy fundamental. Si Ilia para 145 libras es muy fuerte, en 155 es prácticamente casi imbatible. ¿Sabes por qué? ¿Tú sabes cuánto pesa Ilia?
Me dicen que camina en 180.
Ajá.
Y
bro. O sea, que puede hacer 105. Si él puede hacer 145, lo que están viendo y saben lo que estamos hablando de bajar de corte de peso, si él puede bajar de 180 a 145 y cuando se recupera, mira cómo luce. La velocidad, la reacción, el endurance, o sea, la capacidad aeróbica. Sabemos que la capacidad anaeróbica es un monstruo cuando sale explosivo.
MMA Guru has explained the way Charles Oliveira can win over Ilia Topuria, highlighting the massive experience and silky grappling of Oliveira as major strengths. Nevertheless, Guru considers Topuria to be a far greater test than any of Oliveira's past opponents. He points out the youth, athleticism, and constant pressure of Topuria, which he says makes him the favorite for the bout. Guru cautions that Oliveira will have to produce the best performance of his life if he is to beat the ferocious and very talented Taporia.
Ilia Topuria is going to lose, or Oliveira is going to try and win. He's going to try and damage Topuria from the clinch, shoot offensively with a grappling, which he could get something done from. He could get a takedown and get the back. That's Oliveira. You know, he could do that, but we haven't seen that. And I don't think Ilia's like more lost on the ground than Michael Chandler is when it comes to giving up his back. Or I think Ilia's got that, you know, and he's got fight IQ as well. He seems to make correct decisions quite a lot. Or Oliveira could maybe crash in there and land some big shot on him moving forward, being aggressive. I just think Ilia's hands are going to be way faster. And I think Ilia's hands are going to get through the guard of Oliveira, or around the guard of Oliveira, should I say. I think he's going to find body shots in this fight as well. So I'm going to go with Ilia Topuria. I think there'll be a moment where he knocks down Charles quite badly, stands him back up after like a failed TKO finish, and then puts it on him again and maybe puts Charles Oliveira away with a body shot, headshot combination up against the cage. I've got Ilia Topuria winning.
And that's it for today's breakdown of the Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira showdown at UFC 317. The excitement is palpable, and with all the prophecy and anticipation, it's obvious that this is a bout that will greatly affect the legacies of both fighters. Who gets your vote? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for all the latest on all things UFC. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.